want to go through my profile and look at my badges. Tell the story of all of them. Let's see. I'll try to point out like the most memorable ones, or the ones that have like a really cool story behind them. So I'll go through the first ones. So in case you guys don't know the story of my first badge, so this was in 2016, obviously, and I had started kind of playing tournaments with a certain team named UFRJD, and around the summer we played some tournaments together. We were really strong. This was a rank restricted sort of like, we were all 4-digit rank 1000, and we played tournaments around June, July 2016, and then this tournament came out, and it was the next iteration. So we won Z tournament in the summer, and then the next iteration, Z tournament winter, was very unique at the time in that it had a profile badge as the winning prize for first place, and that was like absolutely completely unheard of at the time. Let me switch back to the menu so you guys can see chat more easily. But yeah, that was completely unheard of, and we were like, oh my god. I kind of wanted to focus on school during that time. I was in high school, and I was like, I kind of want to focus on school, so I wasn't really signing up for any tournaments. But then I heard about that, and I was like, yeah, I'm down to play. And to be honest, this tournament was like the most, like, still I think like the hardest I've ever worked in a tournament, or like put in effort to practice and like research other teams. And I think like every single week of the tournament was sort of a very suspenseful ride, especially since we were seen as one of the favorites to win that tournament, but then we ended up losing like 2-4 in like the first stage, like round of 32. We lost, and so we were in losers bracket the whole time, and we had to win bracket reset and everything, and that was just an absolutely insane ride. So yeah, that was my first profile badge, definitely one of the most hard earned, in my opinion. So then we have PMU. So this was also a really unique tournament format. I've never really seen anything else like it. So it was rank restricted 1v1. So basically, there were 3 rank divisions. How do I explain this simply? So rank 1K, rank 5K, and rank like 20K, I think. And you have a team of 3 people, 1 person in each division. And so let's say team A's 3 players and team B's 3 players. They each 1v1. So the 1K is 1v1, the 5K is 1v1, and the 20K is 1v1. And then whichever team won the majority of that 1v1s, they would win that match and they would move on. So basically how this tournament ended, so I think so I was the 1K player, and I think I won all of my matches. And then our 20K player was also really, really good. They won pretty much all their matches. And then I think we had a player that ranked like 8K, and they won most of their matches. I remember in the grand finals, the what is it? My teammates won their matches, and then I was the last one. So no, my one teammate won, and then one teammate lost the grand finals matches, and so it was sort of my match to decide who won the whole tournament. So that was very interesting. But yeah, I ended up winning. That was my second badge, and for anyone curious, that was against a player named Clayton, who my grand finals match was against Clayton. And he made this map for warm-up. Let me find it. Bo. Oh shoot. Zelda 102, yes.
And horror in El Salvador after the National Zoo's beloved hippopotamus was beaten to death.
Yeah, throwback. So he made that map for warm-up. That was funny. Yeah, anyway, so then we go back to the menu. Third profile badge. This was Please Enjoy Tournament. This is, I think, I don't know what installment, I think second. And it was the first one to have a profile badge. That was cool. This was a last man standing tournament. It was like 2 versus 2 last man standing. So each slot in the lobby had like 2 lives or something. I don't remember the specific details, but this tournament, so the context here, so this sort of all circles around. So Please Enjoy Tournament 2017. The first iteration of it in like 2015 was when my teammates for this tournament first met each other. So I think when Please Enjoy Tournament 2015 came out, there was like you could comment on the forum post if you were looking for teammates, and two people there, or a couple people, it was player named Aoyuki and player named Alden. So let me see if I can find their profiles. Duplicate tab. So this is Aoyuki. If the profile will load, yes. Okay, there we go. Yes. So the tournament 2016, and then also Alden, who, okay, this guy, we have a lot of history with profile badges, but yeah, there's a lot of lore going on here now that I think about it. Is my mic peaking? Oh shoot, my bad. I'll try to like put it a little further. Okay, so yes, that was my third badge. That was with some more context. Okay, so this is with Tomika Rin was on this team, former Osu champion in the very first World Cup, and then we managed to get him for this tournament, and then we ended up winning. So I share a badge with Tomika Rin, so that's very cool. Bit of Osu trivia. So at this point, I think I had 3 profile badges. Relatively well renowned at this point in the context of like rank restricted, rank 1000-ish tournament players. And then this random tournament came out. It was a 1v1 tournament on 2 weekends or 1 weekend or something. And it was like rank restricted to 1000. And I got a couple messages from people like, dude, free badge. I was like, what? So I just signed up, and I think I ended up sweeping every match. Like, not many people were playing that tournament. Like, I'm not really saying that to flex. I mean, you can look at the like objective, like the bracket, but yeah, that tournament was very interesting. So that was sort of like the very, very opposite end of the spectrum of like effort that I put into a tournament compared to Z Tournament Winter. So those were my first 4 badges, and then this. Okay, so OHC, in case you guys don't know, this is Corsairs. Before it was called Corsairs, it was called OHC. So this was, and for context, I think this tournament had been going on for quite some time. I think you can see the 2016 badge here. I think this is the first badged one, was 2016. So, but this was already like one of the biggest tournaments of the year, and or of sort of the community. And I remember getting picked up by Apraxia. So Apraxia and I had met during World Cup 2016. So around this time, so this is winter 2016, and World Cups are sort of around winter time, obviously. So I met Apraxia because we were on basically a scrim team, or like USA B team, for helping the actual OWC team practice. So that was, I don't know, this is the first name that comes to mind that was on this team. But Minwoo, this is also where I met Minwoo. He's very cool. But that's where Apraxia and I met. And then Apraxia was going to make a team for OHC. And at first I was actually just gonna, play the tournament kind of for fun with my my 1K teammates, UFRJD. And then Apraxia was like, nope, you're joining my team. And I was like, okay. So it was like Apraxia, Hirak, aka Tony, and Azer. It was the Poon, Musty, Happy Stick, and Idki. So when we were making our team, a lot of the better players at the time were already on rosters. We were making our team kind of late, so we were kind of just picking up scraps. Although, to be fair, for 2017, that was like a really good team of scraps, basically. Although we were very underdog. There was a team with like, Toy, Cookie Z, Fiery Rage, Monko, Rucker, and I don't remember everyone else, but the captain of that team was Flavin, who I think got unrestricted recently. He made that team. He was not very good at organizing, and I think we ended up playing against them in losers bracket, and like half the team was not even there. Toy wasn't there, Cookie wasn't there, and we ended up winning relatively easily, which was nice. Long story short, we really, really underdogged that tournament. I think that was a really strong showing, and I think my place in that tournament helped me a lot for getting on the World Cup team in 2017. So this is my first World Cup. Basically, like the finals/grand finals of OHC coincided with tryouts for this tournament, and long story short, I ended up sort of proving myself not only through the tryouts but also through OHC, and then the USA World Cup team, especially since Vaxe couldn't play anymore, then they were like, you know what, this digital hypno guy, I think he could do us some favors in the World Cup. And to be fair, I kind of did, because I actually played pretty well I was actually relatively useful, at least compared to 2018 and 2019. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, from there, okay, Greek Duo Cup. So this was real quick, this is a 2v2 tournament, obviously, where one player needed to be from Greece. Oh, I forgot Riven. Oh, Riven lost his badges. I'm the only one with this badge now. Yeah, Riven got restricted in the something. Was it the Hall of Shame? I don't remember. I did not really see losses badges. So that's very interesting. But yeah, basically 2v2, but only one player needs to be from Greece. And then the rank 1 player from Greece was like, hey man, you want to team up? I was like, okay. So yeah, that was relatively not very competitive. And then ACT, so this was a 1v1 tournament with like a bunch of different tiers. Like a bunch of different rank sections. So that's what the seed 2 means. And I remember Apraxia won the top seed. Fun fact also, so the original design for this badge, I'm not really sure where to find it now, but it was really, really bad. Like, it was really bad. And Apraxia and I were like, dude, we are not putting this badge on our profile. Like, there's no way that's real. So this was the first badge that I really designed. And I remember sitting in a call with Apraxia and I was like, dude, how are we going to make a badge? Like, what? But we ended up with this, and you can see it's a little thinner. So this was before the new website was really a thing. And there were basically 2 different standard sizes. So if you go back to Tomika Run's profile, there were 2 standard sizes for profile badges. So there was the thinner one. I think this is like 34 pixels height. And then there was the, I guess, newer resolution, which was 40 pixels height. And I think Apraxia really, really preferred the thinner ones. He's like, dude, that looks so much cleaner. So yeah, we ended up designing it that way. So you can see Apraxia and I kind of share this badge. Dude, TOC7. Oh my god. I hope Apraxia does a sort of story time like this too, because that tournament has so much history for him. But yeah, anyway. ACT, also relatively not competitive. And so, okay, SMT Winter. This tournament marked the start of what I would call the Rubber Conquest era. And I think Apraxia would also call it the Rubber Conquest era. So you'll notice there's a lot of badges here that I share with Apraxia. Basically, ACT, or SMT Winter all the way through OCWT. And you can see I basically have the same streak of badges, except these 3. Because these were rank restricted. But all my non-rank restricted badges were all shared with Apraxia and a couple other people. There's Toy, Azer, Monko2K. Monko2K, his profile is actually very interesting. His badge lineup, up until his very last badge, every single badge here is shared with Apraxia. So if you sort of compare side by side, all the way up to Speed Cup 2020. So that's very interesting. But yeah, we all basically played in a tournament team named Rubber Conquest that basically, after not winning OWC 2017, we were like, dude, we got to play more tournaments. And we had already started making a lineup for SMT Winter that was basically the USA team, but we were mostly looking for like NA time zones. So we had this team minus Xarius and Happy Stick because they basically stopped playing tournaments. And then we got Azer and Cookie Z. So that was our team for SMT Winter. So me, Apraxia, Monko, Toy, Fiery, Idki, Azer, and Cookie Z. That was our team here. And that was the first lineup for Rubber Conquest. And basically, we sat in a call once, sort of during registration. We were coming up with a team name. And I think Azer and Toy especially had been around a lot longer than me, for example, and even Apraxia. And Azer was like, man, I miss the days where like you had like actual staple lineups of teams that would like stick around from tournament to tournament. You had like bus drivers or something, arse crackers, I don't remember the other ones, but you sort of get the idea. There were like actual teams that would like stick together in community tournaments, and that kind of died off. And we were like, this is a pretty solid team for the most part, to sort of have as like a recurring roster. A lot of the reason why those rosters tend to not really work is because mostly for time zones, you can't really sign up for many tournaments if you have like people from all over the world. And another thing was mostly reliability, that people would sort of stop playing the game at some point, and generally sometimes like not be very fun to play with in the first place. You need a really good team dynamic to stick with each other. And we figured that 5 of us, me, Monko, Apraxia, Toy, and Azer, we were like the most reliable of that team. And at the time, so it had gotten a lot better in like the coming years, but Idki and Fiery at the time were very unreliable in tournament context. So they did a lot of trolling, and so we were like, yeah, probably best to not have them on a staple roster. But tournaments typically had teams of 8 players, and so we were like, okay, let's have us 5 as like a core lineup, and then we can like swap out the last 3 players depending on who we want to play with, or like just sort of there's stuff like that. And so we had this core 5, and then we realized that we can have this core 5, but every single time we're going to ask Cookiesy to play with us. So why don't we ask him if he just wants to like join our default roster? And he was like, yeah, sure, but he might play with some other teams sometimes. And we were like, yeah, that's fine. So we had our core 6 that was basically Rubber Conquest, and we effectively like created a movement within the Osu tournament community where we were really the only team that was like super, super high level and also had that sort of exact level of chemistry and reliability with each other. And we were able to just kind of play tournaments and have fun and win. At the same time, we we ended up doing really, really well. Obviously, I think we won nearly every tournament that we signed up for, bar like maybe 1 or 2. But yeah, you'll find all these badges that I said that I share with Apraxia, and also with Azer for the most part. You can see SMT Winter all the way to OCWT. So yeah, real quick, these 1K tournament badges. So this is a like 2v2 teams of 3. I think I played it with Alden, and was it with Aoyuki? I don't actually remember who else I played. Oh yeah, Aoyuki. Okay, yeah. I was just making sure. So that was teams of 3, and we ended up winning that. And then let's see. This was a 1v1 tournament. This was, if you guys remember, Happy Stick Summer Tour. This is basically the revived version of that. It was very similar to ACT in that it was just a bunch of rank divisions of like 1v1 brackets, and I won the 1K to 7K bracket. And let me think. This is basically ACT but more normal and less like poorly organized. I feel like ACT was very like scuffed in how it was organized. I think like the rule set and the management. But yeah, Rekindling was definitely a lot better. This was hosted by this one guy who I think is very well renowned even these days. And yeah, just pretty much all the well renowned tournament staff members of the time were hosting that, so that was good. And then this was a rank 1K like 3v3 tournament, teams of 6. Oh, I played this with Peng, dude. I was on Peng's team. That was huge. That was Peng's first badge. So yeah, that was fun. Peng was, I think, kind of known for being the captain of open rank tournament teams that just had like a crap ton of top players, and then there would just be him. And he I mean, not to say he's a bad player, but he definitely wasn't like it was basically like all 2 digits for the most part. So it would be really fun to basically make jokes about like Peng's team, and then like you would basically just put Peng on the top, and then you do like the top 7 global. So Peng's team, modern day Peng's team, is definitely Peng, Emmerich, Eterna, Whitecat, Ryuke, Lifeline, Yam Potato, and Vaxay. That's Peng's team right now. So yeah, good times. But yeah, I remember he like in grand finals, he like got on, so he's UTC -7, so like the match was like really really early in the morning for him, like 7 a.m. or something, and he got on like 2 hours of sleep, and he was like, yo guys, I think some of us weren't even there for that match. We had like 3 or 4 players, but I just remember we played this one map, this map, like Air 8 Hidden or something, and I just remember he like top scored in the lobby, and we were like, dude, Peng, let's go. Yeah, he was a bit of a reading player, but yeah, so that was that. Please enjoy tournament, just the next iteration. I don't remember all of who I think I played with. Was Chaosless on that team? Oh gosh, no, I'm trying to remember. I think so. Let's see. Okay, yeah, let's go. Oh, Chaosless was also on this team. Okay. Very cool. Let's see. Oh, this badge. Okay, fun fact. I feel like I was in grand finals for this tournament, and then the weekend of grand finals, we had a hurricane in our area. Very Floridian, I know, but we had a hurricane and I had to evacuate. So I literally couldn't play this tournament. I felt really bad. So my captain was Garden. And this tournament was actually really cool. It's basically like Osu tournament X trading card game. So like depending on your rank, you costed a certain amount of points to go in for a map. And if your team ran out of like player points to like put in players before you won the match, then you would automatically lose. So it really rewarded like lower ranked players that could play a lot of maps, because obviously they cost less points to play to go in. And there were a lot of like custom like game rules. The tournament was in Chinese actually, so Garden was very very kind and like translated the schedules and map pools for me, and just told me like when to show up, and we usually communicated through DMs like, yo, you want to play this map? I was like, yeah, sure. And then grand finals, I felt so bad, but I had to like send him a message through like the Osu inbox basically, and I was like, I will not be home for this match. And he was like, oh, that sucks. And I was like, yeah. And then I think he also ended up not showing up to grand finals. He was like our other best player on that team, and he, I think, like stayed at school for some like project or something. But yeah, that was really sad. But KSS ended up winning that. That was his first badge, so that's pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, long tangent. Double Yoke Cup was a 2v2 tournament that I played with Bubbleman. Basically, your average rank had to be under 500 or something, so between the two players. So since I was rank 1000, no matter who I teamed up with, we would be like able to play. And interestingly, so we didn't necessarily sign up for this tournament because like, oh, we would make a really strong team. It was more so because I was in a call like before this tournament had come out. I was in like a random Discord call with Bubbleman, and I was like, we should play a tournament together next. All right, and we were like, all right, next 2v2 tournament that comes up that we can play, let's play. And it ended up being this tournament, and so we ended up winning, obviously. And I think a lot of people were like, OMG, so unfair. But yeah, I just wanted to play with my good friend Bubbleman. So yeah, this tournament was also a Chinese tournament, I think. Share that badge with Chaoslets. But I remember there was some obviously, okay, no, it's obviously because I have the badge, so obviously I won that tournament. But this tournament I remember just had like really unique like mod pools. Like there was a hidden double time pool, there was like an easy pool, I think there was a flashlight pool, I don't remember, but that's why you see like the mod icons on the badge. I guess it's really small, but yeah. So this tournament was also really really not competitive. I think there was like one other team with like relatively good players, and the rest of the teams were just not competitive at all. So I think it was KSLS who invited me to play this tournament. I remember, I played it with Fish. I remember because it was an Asian hosted tournament. It was Chinese. And so Fish and I obviously are from the opposite end of the world, and we ended up like needing to wake up really early for the matches. And I remember we would talk to each other, like, because we usually had really bad sleep schedules, but then we would wake up early for these matches, and then like the match ends and it's like 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. and we're like, dude, waking up early is such a life hack. Like, you have so much time in the day. Like, we should do this more often. But yeah, anyway, good times. Fish should also do this. He has quite a history with his badges, but yeah. So that was that, and then this led all the way to World Cup 2018, which basically marked the end of 2018. Nope, 2 more tournaments. So these badges were added out of order. Fun fact. So this tournament happened, and then this tournament, and then this tournament. So this was a 3v3 teams of 4 tournament. SST. Man, throwback to SST. All right, let's go to Praxis profile again. So SST was a very recurring tournament, I guess. I remember Apraxia won. So the first iteration was not badge, and then he won this one, and then also this one. So he had 3-peat. And it was basically always Rubber Conquest people, except with like slightly different ones. So I know Toy played, so like this one with the blue and red stripes. Toy has this badge as well, yeah. So, and then I ended up playing, this was me, Apraxia, Azer, and Monko. And we won this tournament. Oh, okay. I remember this badge was like the open rank badge tournament that I felt like I had the most contribution to us winning. So this, I remember if you guys remember Reshi, the Love Lab Flashlight FC, this map, Love Lab Poison. Yep, you guys remember this map? That Jin ended up doing it, but Mr. Reshi with the Flashlight FC, and that was in that grand finals match. So just for context, if any of you guys have heard of that, but yeah, we ended up winning that, and I felt like I actually contributed to that, so that was fun. Unlike OWC 2018 and 2019 to an even greater extent, but yeah, so that was that. Corsace, this, okay, so the runtime of Rubber Conquest, like in its prime or like at its core, was basically SMT Winter to Corsace 2018. So this is basically like the end of Rubber Conquest era, like sort of this section of my badges. So I think at that point, like Toy, for one, I think was the first to step down for like playing tournaments competitively. Monko also stopped playing for a really long time. Nowadays he's pretty active again, Monko, but he also stopped playing for a while, and so the core lineup started to sort of quote unquote fall apart, I guess. And yeah, that's basically the end of that phase. So 4-digit World Cup. I remember I was like, I will play this tournament if Yoke Spy plays, because Yoke Spy, there was like some reasoning in my head for it. I don't exactly remember. It was like, I almost want to say like in reference to something. But I was like, yeah, if Yoke Spy plays for WC, because he was I think it was Conquest Cup. Okay, I think it was Conquest Cup. So the reason why is because Yoke Spy basically stole my team in Conquest Cup, including Alden. Okay, you see this guy, Conquest Cup badge. Okay, okay. So okay, I'm gonna tell the story of this badge. Okay, you know what? This was a draft tournament where there was like captains, and then we each took turns picking people to be on our team. A typical draft tournament for rank 1000 and below, or rank 1000 and worse, basically. So Alden had this grand scheme to make it seem like he was not active on Osu, or he wouldn't actually be able to play, even though he was signed up. But we were in a scheme together that he was going to basically lower his priority on like the other captains' like priority lists, so that I can build a team, like I can pick stronger players and then pick him later in the draft, because no one else is going to pick him because they're going to think that he's inactive. And the scheme was going so well until the day before the draft happened. There was another tournament that we were going to play with UFRJD, the same team, but sort of revamped the roster. And I was like, okay, let's wait to recruit people until after the Conquest Cup draft, because like we don't want people to know that Alden is actually able to play Osu. I think he made up a story that he like broke his tablet or something, and like he won't be able to get a new one or something. And it was actually relatively believable. Like Yoke's Pie actually believed it. But that other tournament that we were making a team for, Alden messaged this wonderful man named AJT. He was like, "Hey man, want to join our team for this tournament?" And AJT was like, "Oh, sure. Isn't your tablet broken?" He was like, "Oh, I don't know. I might get a new one." And so the story in Connie Cup draft is that Yoke's Pie was a captain, and AJT was not a captain, although he definitely should have been. But anyway, Yoke's Pie was a captain. Yoke's Pie drafted AJT, and so Yoke's Pie and AJT worked together to draft that team. And then AJT was like, "Dude, Yoke's Pie, you should grab Alden. He is literally trolling. He asked me to play tournament with him. He can definitely play." And Yoke's Pie was like, "What? Didn't he break his tablet?" And yeah, then they ended up winning that tournament in grand finals, tiebreaker against my team. Yeah, I was like, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. So that was that tournament. That was Connie Cup. That was a great time. Yeah, shout outs to Connie Cup. But then after that, I was like, okay, 4-digit World Cup, I will play this tournament if Yoke's Pie plays, because I'll do whatever it takes to get revenge. And yeah, you can tell by the badge here what the story was. You can also tell by this badge. Oh dear. Let's get a bit of inspect element going on with this badge, because there's something very special here that you guys all need to be aware of. So this is one of the first instances of like a little Easter egg in a profile badge. So you can see this little hello man, very very faint back there in the 4WC badge. I designed this badge, by the way. That was very cool, and I was like, you know what, this needs a little something. Also, I just realized that like the pixel, like right here, there's like 2 pixels on top of each other, and then there's like one missing. So that's kind of awkward. But anyway, oh, I also designed this one. Although, like when I say design badges, oh, I designed this one, but not the Z logo. Yeah, well, when I say design, I mostly just like found a cool background image, and then like put text over it. But yeah, you know, I except this one. This one was actually like less troll design. But yeah, anyway, so that was that 4WC. In case you guys aren't really sure what kind of tournament it is, should be pretty self-explanatory. Basically, a 4 versus 4 teams of 8, play for your country type of tournament, except 4-digit, so rank 1000 to, I think it was down to like 15k or something. But anyway, next tournament was Nick's Autumn Tours. This is a open rank 1v1 tournament, tier 1 rather. There was like multiple rank ranges, but this was the what is it? This was the open rank one, and this was my first. I think Yoke's Pie I just saw had the tier 2 badge. Yeah, so this was my first open rank 1v1 badge, and how do I put this? I'm not really sure how to describe like how I don't know. I think it sort of like checked it off a box for me that like despite playing a lot of like open rank tournaments, which open rank obviously being that like anyone up to like Emmerich would be able to sign up, but I had never actually won an open rank one. So yeah, that was very cool. I think it was against I think it was Fiery Rage in grand finals, and I don't remember who I beat in the 3rd place match. I almost want to say it was Crystal, but I don't actually remember. But yeah, anyway, that was very cool. I also designed that badge. This one, NAT. Oh, it was actually called NAT. Yeah, Nick's Autumn Tour 2019. Yes, and then that led to Osu World Cup 2019. This tournament was the Vaxei Idki show. This was the tournament where like we like almost completely swept like every match, especially starting from semifinals or quarterfinals. I think we actually did sweep every match. Oh, Skyda. Oh, it was Crystal. Oh, okay. Thank you, Keys. Yeah, I'm surprised I remember that. But yeah, this tournament was super well one-sided, and I don't really have much to say other than I did not play very well in this tournament. I was not very needed in this tournament, I feel like. I remember I met up with Toy like a couple months before, and I was like, whoever is the 8th player on the World Cup team is going to be so useless. Like, we do not need 8 players this year to win. And I was right, and also that player ended up being me, so that was interesting. But you know, good times. That was fun. What was the hardest tournament I played? Probably, definitely Z tournament. As far as tournaments I won, this was definitely the hardest. I think we were kind of underdogs. We were coming from losers bracket against like a like really really good like Hong Kong team, like mapper team. It was like Skystar and Ming 3012, and like I don't know how many of these names you guys might recognize. I know Sahong was on that team. He was pretty good, and yeah, Starsticks was on that team also. The renowned, I almost just clicked on my Wordle tab. That was very strange. Let's see, Starsticks, world renowned mapper of what map was it? Oh yes, Seal.mp4. Let's go. Okay, yeah. Anyway, so that was the team we were against in grand finals, and we had to win twice. So that was a tough fight, but came out on top. Can't believe Ming still plays the game. Oh really? Ming is kind of a beast. What are my thoughts on tier-based tournaments? I think it's really good to like. It doesn't take that much more effort to add another rank division, I feel like. So I think it's just good to like give more of the player base a like sort of playground to play in tournaments, I guess. Yes, okay, so that was the end of 2019. There weren't actually not that many badges here. I remember, let me pull up my tournament play history, which I haven't updated in a really long time. But I remember a lot of my tournaments from 2019 were second place, and even more of them were on grand finals tiebreaker. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Look at this. Look at this. 3 tournaments in a row. Okay, Greek Duo Cup number 2. I remember I lost. Okay, 2 of these I lost to Bubbleman, I think. Look at this guy. This guy. Greek Duo Cup number 2. This badge looks so sick, okay? This badge looks so sick. I think Raven designed this one. The same person I showed you guys before. That, and then who did we lose to in TV size? I don't remember. Oh, we lost to Floating Up. Gomo. This is like the tournament. This is like the one time we actually lost to Floating Up. So this is also around the time that Floating Up expanded to like they sort of had like European imports. So Floating Up was like a recurring team of South Korean players, and then they started recruiting like other people basically. Remember Badu was on the team, Flying Tuna, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, anyway, that was pretty sad. TED tournament. This is the tournament that Alden invited AGT to, that like ruined Conquest Cup for our team. Yeah, right here. Lost grand finals on tiebreaker. That was very cool. Test tournament 2. This is the skill badge. This was basically Monko people. FG Sky was on that team. Lots of people. Freddie Benson was on that team. But yeah, anyway. Man, so many tournaments on tiebreaker, but yeah, a lot of my 2019 tournaments just kind of were second place. Oh, dude. Oh my god. SST 2019. That was really sad. Okay. SST 2019 was also against Bubbleman. Where is that badge? SST. Yeah, this one. Okay, the badge. The text could use a bit of work, but this tournament, we won the first. So we were coming from losers bracket, and we won the first match 7-2. And I was like, okay. Basically, my whole team, we were like, we should be good. If we win the first match 7-2, even if we lose a few more points, then we should be okay. But we were not. I think we lost like 4-7 or something. Let me check the bracket. But man, let's see if it got updated here. Okay, 3-7. This. You know, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, those are some of my second places in 2019. Good times. A lot of grand finals tiebreaker losses, but you know, we persevere. And TV Size Tournament 2020. This was sort of a revival of Rubber Conquest. I played with Mr. Edward, and I'm a fancy lad. Oh yeah, Ed was on that test tournament team as well, I remember. And then we picked him up in Rubber Conquest. He I think really looked up to us because we were sort of like the top dogs of, especially like the United States teams. United States tournament players, and he like really always wanted a chance to play with us, basically. And so around 2020, this is like the death of Rubber Conquest, basically. Or no, not specifically this tournament, but like this was like definitely the falling out of Rubber Conquest. So that was fun. We ended up winning that. I think that was with Xarius also. Xarius, I think I'm a Fan Slad was on that team as well. So sort of a wide mixture of tournament players. Fan Slad was also definitely his first. This is his second badge. His first one being like a relatively random 1v1. So very cool. I think definitely a strong start to some of these players who debuted World Cup in 2020, i.e. Fancy Lad and Edward, and then also Xarius, who had his first badge in like 3 years. So that was very cool. That tournament was not super noteworthy. I have a feeling we won grand finals against Floating Up because, to be fair, that was how most Rubber Conquest team like tournaments went. Is Floating Up was the only other like recurring roster that was like very competitive, but they would always like fall a little shy in grand finals to Rubber Conquest. So I'm not really sure. I don't have any thoughts on that either way. It's just sort of like how it always ended up being. But yes, okay, so 3-digit World Cup 2020. So up until this point, I was rank 1000 through this whole time. And then this wonderful tournament named 3WC, I was like, I want to play 3WC. Actually, the first iteration of 3WC I hosted. And then the second one, which was this one, I was like, I want to play this tournament. So I farmed from like 1.8k to like 970 or something in like 2 days. But before then, so I had this goal to like gain PP from this specific map. And this is why it is my most played map, is because I had this goal to like gain ranks from this map. It was like a challenge that like one of my first Osu friends gave me. It's like, I challenge you to gain rank from this map. And I was like, okay. But then it reached the point where the only way it would enter my top plays was with hidden double time. And so I like grinded speed for a long time. And it was I will have you guys know, like, trying to set a score under pressure like that while registration for the tournament is ending in like 4 or 5 days, that's a lot of pressure to set a score, okay? This score was like super cheesed, and at that point I really didn't care. I was like, okay, you know what? I gained like 10 rank from this score, and that is wholesome. I achieved my goal, okay? And then I farmed all the way up to like rank 970, I think, like I said, and ended up winning that tournament. That was also Wowie's first badge. Some trivia here. Wosp. And I can't, there was someone else who I think it was their first badge. But yeah, anyway, that was that. Courses 2020. So this was a sort of, how do I describe this? This was relatively like sort of picking up scraps sort of team. This was Starbound, I think. I don't exactly remember who was on this roster. I know Kablaze was on this team. Kablaze, and I want to say Fiery was on this team. Yeah, Courses 2020 and Fiery Rage. Let's see. Fiery was on this team as well. Zayson was on this team. This was the team was Starbound. So Starbound was basically the team name that I used whenever I was making a team. So a lot of these, like this tournament, for example, I use the name Starbound, and this one, I think that those are like the most notable ones. Also Conquest Cup that we ended up losing, but So yeah, we ended up getting third. Not super noteworthy of a story to give there. I think apraxia ended up winning that tournament, and I don't remember who got second. Probably Floating Up, to be honest. But yeah, very cool. So these two badges were basically Spotlights badges. It was some like thing on Osu Laser. I think it's like kind of supposed to still be ongoing, but like the management kind of died. But it was just supposed to be this like friendly competitive thing that used the new multiplayer system on Osu Laser, which I ended up getting like the highest ranked division in like 2 of the iterations. I think one of them like I ended up forgetting about or something. Or, like I was out of town when it was happening, but yeah. Anyway, Yeet 2. So this was another open rank 1v1 tournament that I ended up winning against Freezed. Oh my gosh, yeah, Freezed. A player from Finland. This guy was actually really good. Also a lot better than me at streams. But surprisingly very well rounded. This guy is very well rounded. Okay, I had no idea. I was like, okay, I can just pick gimmick. Okay, I lose streams, I lose speed, it's fine. But then he beat me on like the gimmick maps. He beat me on No 6. I was like, what am I supposed to do? But I think I out aimed him. I like kind of cheesed him on some of the stream picks, and ended up winning that tournament. Oh yeah, that tournament had a sudden death map pool, so that was very interesting. But so there was a sudden death map pool because the tournament it was named the tournament was named after is basically a sudden death player, where like basically all of his top plays are with sudden death. So there was like a sudden death mod pool that just like picked maps from his top plays. Basically, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that pool ended up not getting touched in grand finals because it was not very competitive friendly. It was not very cool. I think I picked a sudden death map once and then like my game lagged 20 combo in and I just lost the map. So that was really cool. So yeah, never again. That was not in grand finals, but thankfully it wasn't. Okay, United States Cup 2021. This tournament I also this is probably like second hardest or like second most like worked for tournament that I played. Yeah, this was also a super recent tournament. This was in 2021. This was I think it was the first tournament in a really long time that I actually like grinded for and like put in a lot of effort to like work with my team and practice for. Oh yeah, the Virginia incident. Okay, so this tournament, so at registration, the teams favored to do well were basically Virginia, South California, and Florida, which is my team. Virginia was Rectagon, BTMC, Tony, Wixinator, and 2 other players. But during this tournament was when Rectagon and Wixinator got precedent banned, which basically means that like they didn't do anything necessarily bad, but they basically trolled in a different tournament and that situation got blown out of proportion. And then Osu staff was like, okay, let's set precedent. We don't want this to happen again. We're going to take tournaments more seriously. So they just like basically power tripped on Rectagon and Wixinator and 2 other players. But basically Rectagon and Wix got tournament banned during United States Cup, I think the week before we were going to play against them. So that was very interesting. We basically got a free pass against them. That match would have been really hard, I feel like. But also, I think let me check the bracket. USC United States Cup 2021. Osu. Okay. I'm pretty sure they knocked South California to lose this bracket, and then they lost against us because they lost their players. Florida, South California. Oh no, okay, no, it was us. It was us who beat them. But they knocked everyone. Oh, Massachusetts. They knocked out Massachusetts on tiebreaker with like all their players, and then they got tournament banned, and then we played against them. So yes, okay. Also, South California, we met in semifinals, which I think was pretty lucky because that was where it wasn't that difficult, like the map pool. It was a relatively even playing field. And I think Florida was definitely a team that was sort of grounded on like well-roundedness. And we really had 3 solid players for every kind of map, even if we didn't have any like specific standout players. But yeah, I think semifinals was like the perfect balance between like being a consistency fest and being like getting skill capped. So that was very lucky. This tournament was like honestly relatively lucky with the bracket, but I think we still put in like a lot of effort, especially in grand finals, like I remember I practice every single day. I didn't remember the last time I did that. I don't even do that for OWC. But yeah, I remember that, and I think my performance in this tournament helped my case a lot for playing in the World Cup again, because so Fancy Lad was the captain for the World Cup team come 2021, and also in 2020. But I think he was watching the grand finals match, and I played pretty well, obviously, because I played every map like 10, 20 times in practice, and I was very well prepared for this grand finals match. And Fancy Lad was like, okay, wow, yeah, Habib is actually good when he tryhards, so we just get him to try hard for a World Cup and it'll work out. And I was like, yep, that sounds like a good idea. So yeah, that is basically what happened, and we played in the World Cup. I played in the World Cup again in 2021. That was very fun. That was like 2 months ago. That was also during the Osu Let's Play. That was very cool. The Let's Play ended up like lining up perfectly with like my progression through like the World Cup. Like in one of the earlier episodes, I changed my avatar to the Osu World Cup collab, which is this avatar. And then towards the end of the tournament, or towards the end of the Let's Play series, I had won the tournament. And whenever I would go to my profile, you would see the title here. So yeah, good times. That's definitely well timed in that sense. The reason I started the Let's Play series is because I wanted to start uploading every single day, and I just wanted some sort of content format that I could like record and not need to worry too much about editing, but still be able to like sort of be in a format where I can like give my thoughts on a lot of different things. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it. I didn't go too in depth on the Rubber Conquest tournament badges. They all sort of blend into one. I would say out of all of them, I think this one, OTC2, was the most memorable to me, mostly because it was only teams of 6, and so this badge was just the core 6 Rubber Conquest members. So it was me, Apraxia, Monko, Toy, Azer, and Cookie Z. Only us 6 have this badge. All the other Rubber Conquest badges are shared with like 1 or 2 other people. I think RYUK, for example, has the OTST. Oh, this is his first badge, OTST 2018, and also Mouse Easy was on that team. Yeah. So, but this badge, OTC, this is a 3 versus 3 teams of 6 tech map tournament, and yeah, just really what's significant here is that the only people who have this badge were like the core members of Rubber Conquest. So yeah, thumbs up, good times. That's basically the rundown. I guess that was not super short. That was like 50 minutes or something. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening, either live or you know, nobody's gonna reach the end of this video. I'm pretty sure. If you're in like the 0.1%, then thanks for watching all the way to the end. But yeah, this is definitely gonna go on YouTube. Thumbs up. I stream every day. Lol. Hi YouTube frogs. Yep, let's go. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. LOL YouTube. Yeah, it has been an hour. That was crazy. That was a good time. Very cool. Thanks for listening, guys. My little story. Tag. Oh, what if I tag people? I tag Apraxia to do. Okay, I'll just tag one person. Okay, let's tag Apraxia. Go through all his badges and tell the story. Okay, he needs to make a video like this. Just like do a stream. Do it in one take. Really doesn't matter. Basically just like how I did it. But yeah, thumbs up. Go Apraxia.